Rebuild, reclaim, reconnect. 1 in 4 people worldwide has African roots. But what shapes our lives cannot be reduced to statistics. It lives in memory, movement, music, in mutual care.
I would firstly like to state that for me, just the name Tubman.network, as an American person, I grew up learning about slavery and understanding that if I had been born 400 years in the past, maybe I would not have been able to have the freedom that I have, simply because, I'm black, and just that created a bit of cognitive dissonance for me, which I'm actually kind of grateful for, because it's a really painful topic actually to kind of ruminate on. Is, why do I deserve to have the freedom that I have and my great-great-grandfather didn't? And considering that Harriet Tubman, who is our namesake, was a person who, although she was born into slavery and grew up around people who were wholly enslaved, she chose consciously to not only seek for her own freedom, but to also seek for the people around her freedom who she didn't even know. And not only that, but she would risk her own freedom night after night and year after year in order to bring people away from this monolith which we as humans have somehow become accustomed to, enslaving other people and looking down on them and treating them as less than, simply because of our opportunities. It's abhorrent. And so when I first heard the name Tubman Network, I was sold instantly,
This is Continuation.
We start this journey with Tubman Network from the Ukraine war 2 years ago. And it's all started by the way our African have been treated in the border when the war started. There is a colleague of me called Shigun, who, as I thought known, came up with the ideas that our fellows African brothers and sisters are struggling in the border to enter Europe. They couldn't allow them to enter the train, and they were asked to wait. Some young students were even pregnant. Some have children, baby. They don't allow them to come over to Germany or anywhere but in Europe. So we came all together, African people, to create this Tubman Network. We couldn't sleep day and night walking, try to find a place for them to sleep, try to help them out, try to somewhat traumatize young mothers, young fathers, and even myself. I was having like 7 people in my house.
In 2022, more than 700 volunteers mobilized in Berlin. Over 5,000 people were supported. Daily meals were prepared. Legal pathways were stabilized. Families were reunited. Structural access to legal support and coordinated psychosocial care was established. Over 600 families were stabilized through rights-based legal assistance.
I came to Germany from Ukraine, where I had lived for more than 20 years because I have a family. I have a son and a daughter, and my wife is Ukrainian. When the war started, we had to leave, but we lived separately. Since we were staying, I was staying in the capital city, but I had a private house out of Kyiv, where my family is. But when the war started, I was cut off from the family. In Poland, I was allowed to cross the border into the European Community countries as a refugee, somebody who is fleeing the war. I arrived in Berlin. It was evening hours. In fact, we had nowhere to stay. The government was still arranging where to accommodate all that number of refugees, influx of refugees who were coming with the children, with the people who are handicapped, and old women and old men. So the first day, I slept on the railway station. On the third day, I came back to the central station to try to look for ways how I can manage to put up my life. And by luck, I found some people who were taking foreigners. They are saying, oh, all foreigners can have a chance to go and have a meal and register, and maybe they could find me accommodation. So I went and I registered with that was in Zistrasse, that is in the province of Wedding. That's where an office, I was introduced to some people who gave me a first hot meal after all those days of traveling. And in fact, I filled in the forms, my names, my occupation, and I mentioned that I've been working as a cook, and for the last I was a chef cook in a 5-star hotel.
Emergency became infrastructure. The need has not decreased. It has become more complex. In the last 4 years, more than 4,000 children of African and Afro-diasporic descent and their families have been supported, often around the clock.
Genau, bei uns bei Kendesi ist es sehr wichtig, dass wir natürlich so einen Safe Space haben, in dem Kinder natürlich vor allem mit afro-diasporischem Hintergrund, das heißt Kinder, die halt auch einen afrikanischen Elternteil, wie auch immer haben, dass alle Kulturen so zusammenkommen und wir den Kindern einfach ein Environment bieten, eine Umgebung, ne, in der halt ja, dieses Prinzip sozusagen der intergenerationalen Fürsorge, Mentoring und emotionalen Sicherheit für jedes Kind auch zu fördern ist, weil es gibt natürlich auch Bereiche und auch Orte, wo die Kinder sich, gerade auch Children of Color, sich nicht so safe fühlen. Und deswegen sind wir hier bei Kendesi, weil wir einfach das Gefühl haben, es ist sehr wichtig, den Kindern so einen Space zu geben, dass sie sich wohlfühlen, dass sie sich auch gesehen fühlen. Und gerade auch bei ganz kleinen Kindern ist es trotzdem viel, viel früher, dass sie sozusagen auch das merken, dass sie vielleicht irgendwie von Menschen in der weißen deutschen Mehrheitsgesellschaft werden sie ein bisschen exotisiert, das heißt als ein bisschen Exoten sehen. Und gerade diese ganz kleinen Kinder finde ich sehr wichtig, dass sie in einem Safe Space aufwachsen. Und deswegen sind so eine Orte wie Kendesi, aber auch mit früher Kita Sankofa etc. wichtig, damit die Kinder einfach auch einen Ort haben, an dem sie sich auch gesehen fühlen, an dem sie sich auch mit anderen Kindern und auch mit den Erziehern identifizieren können.
Der Ausdruck von Emotionen, das ist ein sehr wichtiger Teil von unserer Arbeit, weil ich sehe zum Beispiel, wenn ein Kind kommt, ist es ein bisschen schüchtern am Anfang Und dann durch die Musik, die Bewegung, die kleinen Bewegungen und die Klatschspiele machen wir so ein bisschen uns als Eisbrechen und dann mit die Tanzen und mit diese zusammen machen. Sie sind danach total Freude und sie macht raus ihre Emotionen, aber gleichzeitig sie nehmen alles, was wir geben, als Kultur, als Geschichte, als Ritualen, als auch wie die Natur hat einen Eindruck zu unserem Leben und zu uns, was wir fühlen. Deswegen ist es sehr wichtig für uns auch.
You know, growing up in Jamaica, you know, I'm an 80s baby. Growing up in Jamaica with a name like Zinzi and me even keeping my hair natural for years, you know, I was to some extent teased about keeping my hair natural. You know, why don't I process it? Why is my name Zinzi if my parents don't like me? But what I've realized is, like, you know, 30 plus years after, people are more embracing themselves, you know, more and more you're hearing less European names being given to babies that look like me, and people are wearing and exploring their natural hair, even men, and I love to see it. It's vibrant, and I feel that foundation that particularly my father gave us, and he is a very proud Pan-Africanist. I think it significantly propelled my ability to go into spaces that so many times I'm the only Black person, you know, even on an academic level, even the way how I speak, how I presented my thesis or my master's. There is this, like this sort of puppet that's, I feel like there's this confidence that I don't realize, but it's just always there as a child, just coming and presenting yourself as yourself, unfortunately, is a radical and political move as a Black person. I don't know any other race where that is a thing. Hey, this is my name, this is my hair, these are my lips, these are my hips, you know, and I think instilling that in a child from now, the rewards and the confidence, even when, you know, in their 30s and 40s, is immeasurable.
She is the goddess of balance, order, righteousness. In general, in Smaitawi or Kemetic yoga, the posture is just a tool. What is most important is what's happening inside. So in your mind, in your thoughts, what you're focusing on. If you're just doing the postures, it may be a good stretch, but it's not Smaitawi. Smaitawi includes the mind, the spirit, and the body. The children are the foundation of each society. So if we take care of the needs of our children, we invest in the future of our society. So Smaitawi is a very good tool to teach children their roots, their heritage, their culture in a way that makes them proud of it, a way that shows them that there's nothing to hide about any African country's culture. And it's a good tool since the children not only rely on the informations out of the media, so they have another approach, and they also learn how to align, how to reduce stress, and as mentioned, how to align their body, their mind and spirit, which is already necessary in a young age, especially in school nowadays. The children need to know how to deal with stress, how to deal with confrontations, how to deal with aggressions and their emotions, how to control their emotions so that they can grow and become healthy adults, which also are providing for the society.
Family counseling, educational support, and youth development programs operate in parallel through interdisciplinary staff trained in social work, children's rights, educational psychology, psychotherapy, and transcultural methodologies rooted in Marie-Rose Moreau's framework. Education strengthens identity. Identity strengthens stability.
Yeah, welcome to Honeyland, where dreams are sweet and hearts expand. Yeah, welcome to Honeyland, where dreams are sweet and hearts expand. Yeah, welcome to Honeyland, where dreams are sweet and
I got attacked by dogs and I started to stutter, and since then I became a stutterer, and then when I was 14 I discovered that I can rap, so God takes and God gives, The day that I started to rap, it's the day that I knew that nobody can stop me now, because like when you turn the car on, keeps going,
Youth Circle transforms expression into direction.
So about the team, the title, we chose One Africa. We're talking about one united Africa. We live in a time where we have been hugely divided, either by borders, by tradition, by language, religion, and etc. So it's time for us to come together as one, because united we stand, divided we fall. There is no other time to call for unity of Africa other than now, because together we have more strength, together we have more power to do more, to reach more. So yeah, we might have been divided in the past, but now it's time for us to come together as one, because we are one. We are one Africa, and that's the idea, and that's the goal of this project.
What I'm really proud of in what Tubman Network has accomplished is the space that it has created, both online and offline, to help people feel safe, because it's something that was missing and something that people need. Because it's not always what people want that they really need, because they can want something but don't necessarily need it. And what Tubman Network do is most going through the need of the person. And we have been able to create a safe space, both online and offline, that can help people achieve that, have that. And it's not only that, but it's a platform which is completely made and formed from BIPOC people, and going through the root problem that we have. In going through the root problems that we have, we don't wait for the changes to react to those changes. But what we are doing, we are bringing the change. It creates a society where people don't have to beg to have a place at the table. but people feel themselves humble enough and have this dignity to be accepted at the table, which is very important, because access and to resources, to people and all that, it shouldn't be something exclusive, but it's really something that everybody needs to have that. And this is what we are trying to do with Tubman Network, trying to have every voice be heard, and don't see people begging for what is rightfully theirs. And in that case, the community is very important, because the community is the fuel behind that. Because people need to feel that they have people supporting them, and people need to feel that they are not alone.
Through cross-continental digital collaboration, technology is adapted rather than exported. Knowledge transfer is reciprocal. Infrastructure is developed with cultural specificity. This next phase integrates education, ecology, and community ownership into one coherent model. The first Afrocentric Early Years pilot was initiated in 2008. 2 years of lived implementation in the Gambia shaped the pedagogical and ecological model that informs the current expansion. This work was documented in the independent film Fojanga, directed by Armin Müller, capturing early implementation and community impact. The Kita, established during that period, continues to operate today. The first cohort of locally trained educators remains active and prepared to support expansion. Our continental partners are rooted community leaders with sustained integrity over years. In Sierra Leone, long-standing gender justice work continues. In the Gambia, community-based educational initiatives remain active. In the Congo, permaculture structures are being implemented. In Kenya, ecological education is developed in collaboration with Maasai communities. This is incremental implementation.
Tubman Network is a movement where people of African and Afro-diasporic heritage responded to crisis. Initially, the crisis of the Ukraine war, where Africans were discriminated, and that line continues, and that we are still responding in crisis to people in need, whether they're from Sudan, whether they're from Congo, whether they're from other places where war and injustices take place. And to be a refuge can also mean supporting African parents who are experiencing racism within schools, kitas, within youth social services, within family courts. The
the main thing is that the telephone can ring 24/7 a day, and we respond pretty much immediately to whatever it is a person is seeking. And if we can't find the answers within our network, we keep on searching until we found a solution. So in this way, we've helped a couple of thousands of people, out of this crisis management. There is also this aspect of prevention, where we work with children and young people. Yeah, that's an affirmation, but we don't just stay in theory, we put these principles into praxis. And that is definitely something I'm proud of when I think of what Tubman Network has achieved since 2022. It's also important to realize that it's not the work of one person, it's the collective that makes it strong. So any one of us would be broken by the sheer weight of commitment, the sheer weight of pain and tears and despair. But together, we are able to transform and rise beyond that.
In Sudan, Egypt and Uganda, artists continue their engagement for children whilst grieving for those who have lost their lives. Ecological literacy grows. Microgrants support women. Displaced educators are strengthened.
I went to be a model by mistake. It's not something also I choose. A friend of mine, back then she was one of the best models in Egypt. She's a Sudanese mixed with Congo. And from my first shoot, it was something amazing to see my dark skin, my afro hair in the pictures. I was like, wow, I love this. And I was so happy, so proud, so strong. And to be in front of camera is something let me be myself, to show the people like, yes, you was bullying me because of my dark skin or because of my hair, but look at it right now. See how beautiful is it? In front of camera or being a model is something also let me not thinking about what I face outside with Egyptian community or those racist people. In front of camera, even the crew work with me, there was Egyptian, but they was not looking about my skin, they're looking about what I'm doing, what I'm showing to them, how much strong I am, and how much say them yo, do you see what I'm doing as a black guy, you think? And also when I'm studying modeling in Egypt as well, it's not what's easy because of your dark skin. It's so hard to find a makeup artist to do for you a makeup as a man or as a dark skin. It's so hard. And even you will never find a hairdresser to do this to you. So sometimes I took my own makeup to the location, or I do my hair before at night at my home. But that is not something let me stop doing what modeling or anything else.
We are creating proof that inclusive and participation models work for the community. And it also helps us put a ear on the people whose voice are marginalized, so that they can be heard also by the community, they can be heard by the society, so that they can be able to go further in what they are doing. But for Tubman Network, what I really hope for the future, or for the time coming, that Tubman Network doesn't lose sight of what it has been founded for.
Tubman Network e.V. operates through collective leadership. Authority is formally distributed. Delegation is written. board voting rules are defined. Second-line leadership is active. No single actor holds the system together. No single skill set dominates. No single funding stream controls survival. No single narrative defines identity.
My primary goal is to ensure financial sustainability and also create marketing strategies to increase the organization's visibility and advocate for resources that empower parents and families, particularly those facing legal or systematic challenges like I did. My unique skills allow me to not only assist or take part in Tubman Network's activities, but also be able to connect on a deep personal understanding of the organization's transformation power, as I am able to participate in all activities.
Afrocentric pedagogy, legal compliance, financial accountability, institutional clarity. Independent oversight ensures compliance with German non-profit law and child protection standards.
I would really like to give a huge thanks to every one of our funders that have supported us on this incredible journey that has really impacted on so many people's lives. And I hope that you understand that the impact of what you do is tremendous, and in saying so, I hope that you will continue to support our path, that you will continue to understand that this is not another workshop where we theorize. Of course, we also have workshops where we reflect our practice, where we are learning from one another's experiences. Those reflections are important, but we go way beyond that. We are going in that experience of, you know, being that village and that community that people, you know, remember from their past or fantasized about in their dreams. So in that sense, you know, you help us make those dreams become a reality. And nobody really is truly alone when you really understand how we are all interconnected in the ecocosmos of this world. And if one understands that we are all in that same boat, and that's why we have to make sure that nobody gets left out. Yeah, in the end, to resolve those things often also requires that we forgive ourselves, give forgiveness to other people. Many of us, there is this constant struggle for survival, and I think Tubman Network vision is to make sure that we move beyond purely surviving to really being able to reclaim our power and heal from the traumas of the past, to fully rejoice, because I believe that Black joy is an incredible, powerful way of resisting all those that do not wish us well.
We design for functional role diversity to ensure social resilience. Just as ecological systems require biodiversity to maintain balance, resilient communities require distributed competencies across education, care, food systems, governance, and economic stewardship. This is what we safeguard. This work is expanding faster than current funding structures allow. Land has been identified. Pilots have been carried out. Architectural models have been prepared. educators are ready to take their positions. Feasibility studies are completed. Local partnerships are secured. Architectural and pedagogical frameworks are ready for implementation. One anchor institution can activate 3 Afrocentric early years education centers embedded within intentional permaculture communities. Each center integrates child-centered pedagogy, ecological literacy, community-based food systems, and structured family support.
And also to have spaces where it isn't about working and it isn't about fighting, but it is about surrendering and letting go and being able to laugh and joke and just be there for each other as fellow human being.
The future is prepared. Leadership now determines how far this work can extend. Across continents, people of African descent form a global majority. Our work reflects that scale. Rebuild, reclaim, reconnect.